Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is MiAh the King, and if a parsley farmer gets sued, can they garnish his wages? Now then, today we're taking a look at a game just released earlier today on Steam called Citizens on Mars, developed by Red Car Limited and published by Red Car Limited and Creative Forge Games, released not in early access and selling for $5. And I'm still a little sick, but I think I'm starting to get over it, but hey, if I sound off, well, now you know why. So, what is this game? It's a city builder colony sim game, but on Mars. Like that game Surviving Mars, I'd expect, except it's turn-based and level-based and lacking in total immersion, production value, and others. Okay, I don't even know how to approach this one. It's a bit of a big question mark for me, and I was even considering not doing it. But hey, it charges money, and I gotta say something. I don't want people going into this game thinking it's something when it's not. So I guess we'll just start with the positives like we always do. As for story, in case you were wondering, yeah, as far as I can tell, there isn't one. It's just, hey, build this here to complete the level, and then you do that. Okay, so up first for the positives is the price tag. I mean, it's only like $5, and that's both a cool thing to see as well as a warning sign about the rest of the game's quality, but despite that, it's still cheap as hell, so hey, if you only got $5 and you're desperate for something to do, there you go. The next positive is the stability. The game was running very well, it never dropped frames, it runs smooth all the time, never crashed, never bugged out, never did anything resembling a modern day game, so, that's always nice to see. And the last but not least positive I have here is a part of the gameplay. Now, the gameplay is also going to be in the negatives, however, if you enjoy puzzle games, or if you enjoy problem-solving games, then this game has a pretty decent thing going for it. It's got a pretty good flow for that style. It's level-based and turn-based. Now, I'm going to get into that later. And for a puzzle game, it works surprisingly well. I mean, basically, you have to accomplish a goal with a set number of turns. And you have limited space to build in, so it can take some serious troubleshooting and multiple tries to figure out how to beat each level. Ugh, I hate being sick. So if you like puzzle games, this isn't too bad. Not great, but not too bad. Like if they were to just say, hey, this is a puzzle game, I'd be like, oh, it's got a pretty decent flow, it's got a good repetitive nature to it, it's got an interesting idea going for it, that's not bad. But they didn't, and we'll go into that later. Alright, so that's all I got to say positively about the game, and honestly, even that took a lot of effort because I literally had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find anything nice to say about this game. So next up is the negatives, but before we go into that, here's some interesting information for you. Did you know that YouTube only really advertises a channel if it's already popular? I know, ridiculous, right? Which means without more views, my stuff barely gets shared or seen, which means if you really want to help me out and support me and my channel, along with subscribing and liking, I'd really appreciate it if you could share my channel on social media or wherever online. Just get the word out and help me get noticed. That would really help a lot. Okay? Alright, thanks a bunch. Alright, now we got to go into the negatives, and I'm already struggling to make this video as long as I want it to be, so apologies for that. Anyway, the first negative to me is the misleading Steam store page. Now, I'm not making any kind of official claim or anything. It just seems, in my opinion, that the Steam store page is lying to you. I mean, they say it's a city builder, and I mean, yeah, I guess technically it is, but it's not in any way at all similar to all the others. They say it's a colony sim game. Again, technically, you could say that it is, but it's not at the same time. It's kind of ridiculous how they make this game feel like it's going to be the next Surviving Mars or whatever, but when you get in, it's just a puzzle game that's got the skin of a city builder. It was so disappointing to me that I was immediately thrown off my game and debating if I should even continue doing this review because of how just pointless it felt to me. I mean, they're talking about all these really cool things and these cool ideas and all this interesting stuff you could do as you're trying to start a colony on Mars. It sounded like Surviving Mars, if I'm going to be honest, like if you look at the Steam store page. But it's not. Like half the stuff they're talking about, it's not there, or at least I didn't experience it when I was playing it at all. So, I don't know, and I'm going to go into that a little bit later as well. The next negative here is the gameplay. See, I said it was going to be in both. So it's a puzzle game. Okay, fine. That would be, if it was labeled as a puzzle game, and if I was expecting a puzzle game, then yeah, okay, that would have been fine. But I was expecting more of a colony sim city builder game like Banished, City Skylines, Surviving Mars, and I could go on. In this game, you need to build buildings. You need to build them in order, so that way you can gather the necessary resources as you're building. You have a set amount of turns to do everything, and along with manually passing turns, turns will also be passed every time you build a building. You need worker housing, food, water, and oxygen producers for your workers. Then the dozen or so different types of factories to produce different resources, all that have to be squished together on these tiny maps. Also, you can build enough of what you need so you can progress to the next level, because after you build everything you need for this level, it ends, and it restarts you on a new level with a new tiny map where you gotta basically do it all over again. If you're on a sandbox mode, which I did try, you have like this goal of like building this massive wonder-like thing. I don't really know what it is, but it requires like hundreds of resources, so you're going to have to like manage everything, and you're going to have to build everything the way you want. And it's a little bit more like a city builder on that one, and with a goal on it at the end, but even so, it was still just like bleh. So, and if you're on story mode or tutorial mode, which I think I was on, then you basically just build whatever they tell you to build, and then you beat the level and move on to the next one, with no dialogue, no story, no interesting things happening at all. It's just, hey, on Mars, you need water, so make sure you build this. And you're like, oh, okay, so I build this. Oh, you complete a level, next. But was that it? Yeah, well, now you got to worry about food. Okay, cool, I guess I get that one, but I don't know. But, yeah, that's it. That's the gameplay. You just build what they say to build, and you beat the level, move on to the next level. That's it. Like, there's nothing more to say, and I think that's part of the problem. The next negative is the user interface. First off, it's awkward and confusing. Secondly, there are tooltips over some things, but not others. So half the time, you're just kind of questioning what's what. It's a bit underwhelming and kind of annoying to look at, and it's definitely annoying to navigate for me, at least it was. Next up is the sound effects and the music. In my opinion, it's all slightly below average. The music is generic and cliche. The sound effects, when they actually pop up, I mean, they're okay, I guess, but still a bit off. Overall, it wasn't much better than looking at it. I'd say the sound effects and the music were probably average, maybe slightly below average. Side note, the graphics aren't the best, but they aren't the worst either. I mean, if this had been a legit city builder with these graphics, I probably wouldn't have been bothered by them. So, that's why I don't want to talk about those. And last but not least, I was just very bored and uninterested in this game and its idea. I mean, okay, another Mars city builder colony game. I mean, I've played so many of these. So it's not original, it's not creative, it's not pushing the boundaries, it's not offering us anything new, and its gameplay was boring, repetitive, with no replayability, because it's just going to be the same thing over and over again. The only replayability part here would be that the maps are different every time you play it. Like, I don't care. And I doubt the game will be that long either. I mean, sure, you could probably play this game on sandbox mode for like a week straight, but why would you? I tried playing sandbox mode, and with no real goal and no real reason or real story or just anything, I was just bored. There weren't even any cool sound effects or music to listen to. I was just bored. I had to go back to its story/tutorial mode just for some kind of context or goal to get any kind of motivation to keep progressing at all. But the point is, this is a subpar game that's not worth my time. It's not worth your time. I mean, if you like puzzle games, then sure, you might get some enjoyment out of this, but they should really change up that Steam store page. I mean, it's nothing like what it's saying. I mean, random events you need to react to? When? It never happened to me. A handcrafted campaign? Seriously? Where you embark on an engaging campaign that will test your leadership and decision-making abilities? Like, what? When? Where? That actually sounds good and fun, but where's that at? I clicked on campaign and spent the first almost 2 hours on tutorial missions with no dialogue, no story, no events, no anything. A tutorial should never be longer than 10 minutes. So what's the deal here? Is that the cool, intriguing storyline you were talking about? I don't know. It just feels a little shady to me. I didn't like it. It's definitely not what I was expecting. And if I have to play 4 hours just to get to the quote-unquote good part, it's definitely not worth it. Is this the worst game ever? No. I mean, is it even a bad game? Technically, no, it's not. If you're looking for a puzzler, it's an okay game. It's an average one. But if you're looking for an actual city builder colony simulation game, I would definitely recommend you look somewhere else. This one just does not feel right to me. I don't understand. I mean, if I'm getting something wrong here, if I'm missing something, if I don't know, if I don't know, let me know in the comments down below. But I was just not enjoying this. But hey, if this sounds like something that you might want to try, then yeah, sure, go ahead. Give it a try. I guess it is only $5. But if you're looking for a classic city sim or colony sim, I think you should move on. Alright, so that's all the time I got for this video, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.